esports trying to find an angle they can, trying to find somebody out of position.
We're gonna go through on this. Oh, what a wall. We're gonna deflect. See why it's gonna go in.
It's going to be a really, really interesting one.
Oh my god. All of this competition could be so damn close, so I cannot wait for us to finally decide who's going to be the champion. We are expecting some chaos, some great moments.
Beast Mode has killed 3. Only gonna really need that rampage, so it's gonna clear it out. Santi gonna get themselves a big old 4K. Oh. Santi's getting rid of 3, clearing out the house.
That is crazy.
Nunji actually kills 3 people.
This team feels entirely different on this faster composition. Now Saga Fort is hanging around, getting onto the high ground. Post bomb's gonna stick on the Leaky. They're not gonna be able to survive it at the end of the day. Manages to find a 3K.
Rio shoving this Lana into a corner. Woo! One more for the road for Rio.
That is all signs go. Melophobia with 3 Melophobia. Start the fight. They'll end the fight. Oh my god. Beagle Bus, they have to play aggressively into this energy. Popping off in a moment where you needed just that. Ruby in that backline. Oh, the flick. Looking for it. Oh my goodness. The fourth one as well. Do they get the ace? They get the ace.
Hello everyone, welcome back to SNO. We've got a banger of a series for you tonight. We've got the NA Diamond Division. We've got Infinity versus Space Train Express. Losers, round 1. Loser goes home. Yeah, this should be a good one, right? We've got myself, Joker's Ransom, him, Soav Denim, and her Megalas on the desk today. We have only a 3-person desk because it looks like Spectron fell asleep and is not here.
Classic EU behavior, honestly. Just falling asleep at random times, degeneracy. We wouldn't have expected it either way.
That's fair. Megalas, you've been here on the ground this entire time, not in Sweden like some of us have been. How have the playoffs been going?
Playoffs have been amazing, honestly. Like, getting to talk about it earlier, right? A lot of people, even on the prod side of things, we were like, oh, round 1 matchups, not a lot of interesting games there. People get to pick their opponent. It'll be a lot of 3-0s. But across all brackets, really, it's been tons of upsets, tons of close matches. Everybody seems to really realize, hey, this is the playoffs. This is our chance to fight for these trophies. So it's really been amazing to watch, some of these teams shine and try to fight their way through, even in intense situations.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of intense situations, we had an SNO earlier on today, right? We'll take a look at that schedule. And both of you were there for this. Megalas, you were casting, so you were on the desk, right?
I wasn't there.
You weren't here?
This is news to me. This is news
Oh,
to me.
right. We had the casters on the desk, and then Spectron and G out. So Megalas, again, take us through that first match.
Yeah, I mean, talking about upsets right there, right? It was a elimination match, loser go home, and Team EXE, they won the midseason bracket, and, a lot of people had them pegged as the favorites, but a quick 3-0 at the hands of Godstack is how they end their tournament life, hitting that 4th place over in the EUGM tier. Like I said, this, especially with this new meta that we've had sort of come into play, a lot of these teams cannot be underestimated. When they know that their backs are against the wall, they hit this extra level, and who knows, we might see more of that tonight. Yeah,
definitely. Like you said, the new meta kind of putting people on the back foot with it, especially changing not quite rapidly, but somewhat rapidly into this amalgam meta here. So, what do we expect to see from this composition if people didn't watch OWCS?
If you haven't been paying attention, this is now a meta about teamwork and now a meta about making sure that your timings are correct. We kind of had a nice little lead into this from the fact that we were in, kind of a Juno meta where ring was so important, when you engage, when you disengage. But now we're in this meta where if you aren't timing your cooldowns, if you aren't laying your ultimates correctly, you are going to get punished for it because the skill expression needed isn't as high as previous metas. So now the team expression becomes the most important thing to look at.
Yeah, and like you were saying before the broadcast, this is kind of brought its way. We've had this is goats, but this is as close to goats as we've gotten. I feel
I'd
like
say so.
since maybe Jotes was first introduced back a couple of years back.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, that was strongly my feeling. It's just when you watch the high tier players, the pros, the collegiates do it, it's not necessarily about who is just popping off in that moment. It's about how are you playing together? Are you setting your team up for success? And how are you planning out your ultimates into this? Because a cage fight can be good or bad depending on what your opponent has against you. If you don't have a laser to pair with it, or if you don't have a Death Blossom, you can just get immediately overrun in it.
Yeah, definitely. I was casting a Swiss Overwatch event earlier today, and a team decided to run Sombra against this Malga composition. It worked really pretty well, just to shut down the cage fight and whatnot. So I'll be interested to see as we go all along in this meta if we see some variations like that, as we did see in Goats. Sombra being a huge way to mitigate the coordination of these compositions. As now we move into tonight's matchup here, Megalas. This matchup between Infinity and Space Station Express wasn't initially supposed to happen, but things have happened. Now Space Station Express are back in it, and what should we expect before we get too in depth later on down the line?
I mean, we're expecting a very interesting matchup, right? It is that loser bracket situation, so the loser is out. But for Space Train Express, they were out of it. They thought it was over. They thought it was done with. for their season, right? But after, some things happened, we had to DQ a certain team just for, things happening behind the scenes. We don't have all the details on that. But, Space Train, they were offered the chance to come back into this, replay some matches. They said, no, we're happy to start from the lower bracket, which means, coming into this, right, that's such a different mentality to think your season's over, to have to reinvigorate, reignite potentially, try to get people back into the scrim room, be like, hey, we're not done just yet. It can be a massive motivator, but at the same time, a lot of pressure that you put onto yourselves now when you're starting with, again, you're starting in lower bracket, one life on the line, you really got to make it count if you're Space Train.
Yeah, definitely. And now I just want to completely derail this because I just looked at SCAD's SCAD's full team name. It says SCAD B Sport. That's just fantastic.
That's incredible.
I love that for us here. Yeah, we they're able to come into this again. Yeah, taking that, taking the losers round, not getting that matchup between SCAD, right, is an interesting way to try it. But hey, think of the story if they make it through the losers bracket.
Yeah,
that would be a story of all time here. So
yeah, at a minimum, you're coming in with Nicholas said, you're kind of coming with the wind at your back in a way. You weren't expected to be here, so you either look at this and say, well, what do we have to lose? We literally don't lose anything. We were out before this. Now we have a chance to at least make a little bit of an impact in this tier. And maybe you're not going to go all the way to the end. It's very debatable, depending on who falls later down the line. But even coming in as a last-minute replacement and getting to losers round 2 or 3 would be a heck of a statement for the rest of the division to have to look at. So, I mean, nothing to lose, only anything to gain here for Space Train Success. Stocks go up. There's only thing you can do here. Even if you lose out, it's, well, we took a shot and it didn't work. Big deal.
Yeah, it's like signing up for sports gambling and get free money, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You just you're playing with house money and
money. Yeah.
So you can't really lose. Besides obviously losing, but you're still here. You're still alive. Now we do have a segment. It was supposed to be talking about the patch, but again, Spectron decided to fall asleep. So Mr. Soev Danum on the spot was able to create our game for us today.
Yeah, this was, I don't remember who threw this out there, but this is Shattered Memory. So I'm going to pretty poorly describe, I'm not going to say it's pretty poorly, because some of these are pretty simple and you'll get them right away. I'll try to layer them out a little bit, but I'm going to badly describe an Overwatch hero, and your job is to buzz in and tell me who the hero is. Like I said, some of these are good, some of these are bad, but we'll see how many we go. We'll keep track along the way. Joker v Megalass. And let's see how we do. Let's see how we feel about some of these. Let's start off with an easy one. This is Korea's best export since exploding smartphones. I see Megalass buzz first.
It's just Devo, right?
It is incorrect. It is correct. It is just Devo, 1 point to last.
I was scared I was overthinking it, yeah.
Nope. Some of these are not good. Some of these are not bad. Your friendly neighborhood death machine.
You gotta reset the buzzer.
I have to play the buzzers. Hold on. I'll reset the buzzer. Oh no, that's right. I'm not used to using buzzers. Right. Hey, your it isn't. I'll give it to Joker. He buzzed at Joker.
It's Bastion.
That is Bastion, correct.
See, I had no clue.
I've done it now.
That was interesting. Okay.
That's right. Lesbian Doctor Who, now with 200% more guns. Megalass.
Just Tracer, yeah?
That is Tracer, correct.
I can see the theme we're going with. Okay, I like it. I like it. The energy.
Here's your next one. Your dad, who is better at you than shooters. Joker.
Soldier 76.
Soldier 76 is correct. Cuddly Demon from the depths of hell.
What?
Ooh. Oh.
The Cuddly Demon from the depths of hell.
I feel like I'm wrong, but I'll shoot for it. Is it
Megalass?
Is it Reaper?
It is not Reaper. Joker, do you have a guess?
No idea.
All right, I'm going to reset the buzzer. I left out a word because it gave it too much away. I'm going to add the word back in. Cuddly Demon from the frozen depths of hell. Joker got there slightly before. May. As we all know, May is that demon who everybody hates, and I couldn't.
I'm a May player. I could never think of her as a demon. I don't know what you're on
You've
about.
never been called a demon in your ranked games playing May?
That's
No, I've been
crazy.
called a demon, but I don't care. Amazing.
That's
Angel.
She already knows she's a demon, bruh.
All right, here's our next one. 2016's favorite meme thinks you should get a STEM degree. Megalas.
Winston?
Winston is
Oh,
correct.
really? I was gonna say Mercy.
Okay.
Mercy.
The
Yeah,
STEM
'cause-
degree help.
I don't wanna be Mercy. That song?
Yeah,
No, that wasn't
that was a pretty
2016.
good.
That was
yeah,
like-
I don't think that was
I
2016.
don't know.
When did
All right,
TikTok
here's your
exist?
next one. Here's your next one. Falcon Suit Samus. Joker.
Farah.
Who is Farah? Yes, Farah, correct. His next one's an easy one. We'll end on probably... Oh, we're at the tie. I'll give us one more. We'll see if we need a tiebreaker. Everybody's favorite grandma.
No!
Joker.
Anna.
I swear I
Anna,
buzzed
correct.
first. No.
Bang it. What was this?
No, that's what I...
This was gonna be easy. You're against Joker. This is gonna be easy. Yeah, that's what I thought.
The Bastion one threw me for a loop.
Big brain. I played Overwatch for the first time in months yesterday.
I'm so
All right,
sorry
here we
for
go.
you.
Another. I'll give you another easy one just in case. Maybe we can get last in here.
Oh.
Angry IKEA employee.
I'm just
Joker.
Torbjorn.
not fast
That is
enough.
Torbjorn, correct. He's so fast. He's so fast. Last one. Last, try to at least bring us close here. Spooky, scary skeleton of an owl.
Skeleton of an owl. What?
Sends shivers and bullets down your spine. Joker.
Reaper?
That is Reaper, correct. I said they were badly described. I did not write these just for the context, but Joker is 6-3 over that. Congratulations, Joker. You understand all of these characters to their absolutely terribly defined core.
That's just me, right?
I've never been more proud of you.
It's
Yep,
just me, right?
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely the most.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect anybody else to get that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect anybody else to get that. From the
is
truly the plattest of the minds on the desk.
Is that a compliment or a shade? Is that an insult?
Truly the plattest mind of us all.
Hey, I'm getting out of it. I'm getting out
That's
of the
fine.
mud.
That's
I'm
fine.
getting out of the mud.
That's what they all say.
You'll get
I
there
won
one day.
four. I won 4 games of Overwatch of the 4 games I played yesterday.
Mm-hmm. The
Incredible.
pendulum will
Man's
swing next
undefeated.
time. Don't worry.
I played just Malga in gold.
Sign this. Sign this man up for Face It immediately. Get him in the trenches.
Get me on your Face It Masters team now. I'll make your team so much better. I'm an
Joker, thank you for the,
incredible Zarya player.
Joker, thank you for the chance to get this game live and to play and to send it out to there.
All right. Unfortunately, we don't have lineups for either of these two teams quite just yet. So, we can take a look at their rosters, though. We can.
Yeah.
They can't.
Weekend, that's correct.
Yeah, we can because we're cool and we have spreadsheets of all these teams' rosters, right?
That is
So
correct.
we'll take a look here, Megalass. Let's take a look at Infinity here.
Yeah, we could take a look. I totally was prepared for this.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
The
I was
professional desk,
absolutely
by the
ready
way.
for this.
Listen, I'm doing exactly what I need to. But yeah, looking at it, I mean, Infinity, they have some pretty solid names, right? The thing that sticks out to me is obviously Leo Leopard and Ace Matrix being that DPS line, right? You know these players if you've been around CGL, you've heard of them before at least. But then they also have Ace, Happy Rogue, Red is a hot fry backing them up, and then DKK being that other flex DPS should they need to be able to sub in and out, right? Specifically on that Genji. Overall, it's a pretty solid roster, right? I feel like we talked a lot about Space Train earlier and their circumstances coming into this. Infinity, I mean, not the worst shake of things, right? They come up against Queen of Diamonds, another heavily favored team. They won the midseason here in this tier. and now find themselves in loser bracket. But I think they still have more to do.
Yeah, and like you said, they came against Queen of Diamonds. They took a map off them as well. It was huge for their confidence going forward, right? So they have to be feeling good about what they're doing. And interestingly enough, obviously Ace's most played hero is Diva. That is definitely something that we might be able to see here, especially since we are in the Diamond Division, right? We don't necessarily need to see the meta. Some teams feel more confident on playing these characters that they are more confident on.
Yeah. I mean, and I'll talk. Look, I'll take a minute and talk about the other side, because Space Train Express, I think, comes from a different perspective in a lot of ways. A lot of this team, being their first season here in CGL for us, this team is a pickup from another league. Maybe you've heard of it. It's the Boomer League. It's the league for the older adults. Your esports ancients, if you will. Over 30s. So this is a group that is not only has maturity, but also has a little father-son. I see the father-son team on there. So there's not just the power of friendship, but there's also the power of family and the wiseness of age amongst it. It isn't just sometimes you do just kind of depend on the youth and the vitality of all that. But I think there's a lot of things that you can learn, playing together. This is not an inexperienced team. So for them to get put back in a situation like this and having been played in previous leagues together for a while, I think that does give them a little bit of an edge in some regard to, just being the ninth place team that kind of just got bumped up. I think they have a little bit more teamwork maybe, and a little bit more of a real perspective on this team. And their heel pulls kind of show it, because everybody really flexes on this team. You might actually see a lot of role swaps simply because there's no egos here. It feels like everybody's just gonna be like, I'm having an off day on my hit scan. Let me go to support. I can support you who are playing way better on something else today.
Yeah, and I mean, most of these people have known each other for 22 years, right? That's crazy. Obviously, we
have the former head coach for Mizo OW too. Yeah, that's wild. That's
that's insane to think about. The average age is 32, and then obviously the son brings it down a little bit in the 18. But I'm excited to see this. Right, I love that we're seeing players in the older age of things. Right, still playing video games, still having fun playing video games, not bogged down by society. Right, and able to actually have fun with their friends.
Yeah, I mean, truly, that's what we here at CGL just want to see, right? We love the high level competition, but we're also just here to have a good time and vibe and enjoy life and enjoy this dumb little video game we all are committing so much time and energy into. So, surely this is going to be a big, great, fantastic, close game, and I'm not going to eat any of these words by the time we get back on desk.
I hope it is.
I hope so anyway.
That'd be nice, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, other than that, it should be interesting, right? Both these things.
Yeah.
I think, however, the tank player is the one that's missing for.
Yes, I believe
Space Train Express.
So I believe so.
I was gonna say the Diva. We could be seeing the Diva mirror, right? But I think instead we might see Snip Sauce, who's on their substitutes, who plays Junker Queen. Junker Queen, we saw some play in OWCS, right? I mean, Junker Queen could be a huge pickup for Space Station Express, or Space Train Express. Sorry.
Express.
It's a mouthful of a name, but it's gonna be. But yeah, that Junker Queen could be a huge make or break for this team here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, the Junker Queen did get a little bit of a nerf. I mean, but I don't know, Lass. You're probably the stronger tank player. I mean, at this point, I think she's still fairly viable from what we've seen.
Absolutely. And I think, especially if you know you're going into a Diva on the other side, right? If we're able to actually step out of that Malga meta, since we are down in Diamond, a lot of things end up opening up, right? And it kind of depends on where the Diva's defense matrix ends up getting dedicated. But the Junker Queen, she's still plenty good. She still finds value. Like you said, OWCS, we saw Shock trying to make a run of it with that, plus the Sombra here. maybe not that exact combination of heroes, but I will be interested to see if they pilot this queen, sort of what speed boosts and things we're working with to sort of make sure these engages go off smoothly.
Yeah.
All right. Right. So, well, both these teams are still waiting to get in lobby here, so we have some time to kill. So let's talk about OWCS. Actually, we can talk about the expanded format that's coming into.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Into
Yeah, we should.
the 2025, right? I really
Yes.
like the idea of the promotion and relegation system that's going to be coming in after open qualifiers that will be starting in January. I think it's really good for the game. It's really good for allowing more and more talent to in-game talent. I won't say out of on-screen talent because we're gonna get shafted again. But I think it's gonna be really good for the game's ecosystem.
Yeah, I mean, they did try a similar thing towards the end of Contenders, where if you were near the bottom, you might be, kicked out. You might be playing towards, whoever was at the top of OD, or for another pool of contenders kind of below you. So they did kind of experiment with this, and I'm inclined to agree. Like, you want to talk about something that really keeps the players on their toes and always keeps them hungry. It's very easy just to say we're going to be a best team, or our team has already purchased a slot. We know we're fine. So I really do think that a combination of that and also integrating the Faceit League as a general and some of these more outside leagues as a means to kind of reproduce the path to pro just does a lot for OWCS in general. I love it.
Yeah, it does absolutely amazing things, like you said. To reinstall that faith as a player, right? Like, there is actually a path, a connection, a way in, instead of just perform really well in these other tournaments and then hope somebody sees your name when they're scouting for new talent. To actually have that open avenue, I think it makes tournaments like CGL and other community things just that much more important. I think of first thing that comes to mind, right? RuPaul of Toronto. He started out in Tranquility, of all places, like absolutely being able to pop off there and working his way up to the top. And so now having that much more open avenue with this actual formatted path to pro, I think is going to be amazing. And it's, again, also going to breathe life into these other tournament systems that aren't even affiliated, because it provides that much more incentive for them to perform well here.
Yeah, it was crazy, right? I was crazy. I was talking to people at OWCS that I casted RuPaul, I casted Infected, I casted Rack Attack, right? And it's incredible to see how far they've gone.
Yeah. I mean, you never know. Even in here in CGL, like, look at the short bus guys. Look at we've had so many guys who have made it out into those wider scenes and into those bigger stages. Yeah, Doomed. I mean, yep. So many players that they just need a space to grow into that. Yep.
Sky Sniper, Hutch.
All of them. Yeah. And they're all getting the chance to. Yeah.
Speaking of
good
people that need that, I wanted to talk if we had any people that could be the next superstars coming in that we have in the back of our mind, right? I said a couple of them, right? Sky Sniper, Doomed. Doom's already been there. Hopeful's been there as well. But I'm really interested to see what Astronex does, even though he has been in the tier 2 scene for a bit now. I'm really interested to see if he gets picked up, how he does in this next upcoming OWCS format, because I think he could really make his mark on the NA tank scene.
I mean, realistically, take your pick of anybody playing in the open divisions here in CGL. Like, take your pick of anybody who's not like a known entity on the PC side. And I think all of them, for the most part, like anybody who really makes the top 8 has kind of proven themselves in a lot of a way. Maybe you're not competing at the best of the best, but you're competing against, pieces of the best. We still have, Nightmare rotation. We're seeing a lot more collegiate into CGL, and those players are where some of the most foundational teams that are going out into OWCS are coming from. So it's kind of hard, because I think of those teams like Short Bus. I think of, a couple of the guys who are fighting in the lower brackets right now, who are absolutely just standout players, but just, again, just don't quite have the place to go. They'll have to refine their kind of work here and then go into OWCS.
And obviously, it's hard work. You have to be able to dedicate yourself, but, that's all just that's like everything that we've covered, everything we've talked about. That's a lot of NA talent, right? We haven't even looked towards EU or anything like that. We still have so many other great players that can rise up in the
Oh,
scenes
yeah.
there. You know, first thing that comes to mind, a lot of the completely melted guys like Rod FD, Tom X, being that
Yep.
reliable backline, things like that. I could love to see them, you know, sort of step out, be able to step onto some of these teams and things like that. But there's just so much talent that really never had any place to go, and now again, just wrapping back, this whole formatted system is going to make it that much easier and that much more incentivized for players to learn and grow.
All right, looks like we have lineups here now that we can possibly pull up on. So we'll take a look at Infinity here. Megalas. We'll take a look at the first lineup here.
Yep, Leo Leopard, of course, starting. Like I said, this is the star player they like to build around. But then DKK will actually be starting, and then the rest of the team, you know, there's no other subs, right? The rest of the team is exactly who you expect. You got Ace, Red is a Hot Fright, and Happy Rogue here. You know, overall, pretty solid team. But again, right, Leo Leopard is the person you're going to be wanting to watch out for. Infinity has played around this player all season long. He is absolutely amazing at what he does on the DPS role, and as long as he gets his way, then Infinity should be looking for a good win tonight.
And now we can go take a look at Space Train Express. Soav, we're going to see what they are going to be able to play out or take out here.
Yeah. I mean, I'm particularly looking at the Atera and the Cracker line because that is the father-son combo. Like, you don't get much closer when you have your literal training partner, your literal duo on your team, especially on like one of them being a shot caller. Really does tell me that the DPS are going to be able to listen in and hone in that. Like, that gives you a chance to not just help your tank, guide, between that and your tank, guide to the front, but sometimes it's the difficulty for teams is getting your DPS to follow up on low targets, to follow out the shot calls that are being thrown out there. So that really does give quite a bit of a positive to them. I'm very that's exciting to see, at least from my angle. I will also say that I believe Elvish Kitten is coming on from the main support side to fill on the flex support side, but like coming on to play Ana, that's pretty fair. And I still think Ana, even with the boost, it's not still worth giving up Juno for, but I do think that if you don't have a Juno player on your team, you can kind of still go far with a really, a decent Ana player in this meta.
You definitely can, and especially if you can also supplement it with a Kiriko as well. Because it is kind of just like the less powerful. Kitsune Rush is kind of the less power orbital ray at this point. Somewhat. No, because I think about it. Orbital Ray is just kind of a team nano in a lot of ways. So like that's kind of the real reason you like it. It gives you a lot more buff to your whole squad, which is what this comp wants to do. So if you only have a single target nano, but you're trading that for single target healing, that's not the worst thing in the world. It just means that your other support is going to have to make up a lot of slack. Right. Is really what it means. All right. Yeah, makes sense. Let's take a look at our predictions here, though. Because, well, like we said, we have both teams in lobby now, so we can get this show on the road. We'll take a look at mine here, and I believe I went with a 3-0 for Infinity to win this out. I just really like this team right now, especially since they were able to take that map off of
Queen of Diamonds.
Queen of Diamonds, right? Yeah. The team that everyone expects to win right now. I think that sets themselves up for a good lower bracket run, knowing that they have the capability to hang with the big dogs of the diamond tier at the moment.
I think that's a reasonable place to be, Joker. So as you know, if this is your first time watching, you're in for a treat because I'm contractually obligated to make a bad pick. And I don't even think this is a bad pick, but I do think that this is one of the most unlikely, and that is going to be Space Train Express in a 3-1. I do think if they win, it's probably going to be closer to a 3-2 and probably to a full reverse sweep setting to where they're just playing insanely. But I kind of don't hate the story that gets sold, we're seeing set up from this. The team comes in off the bench, they have nothing to lose for. This is a team that knows how to play, and you're not really been paying attention to them. So I think there's a little bit of a mystery factor in this team that maybe they can squeak by and seal this one away and really kind of turn some heads to them.
Yeah, okay. I agree with you. Megalas, let's round out yours, and then we'll talk about the casters.
Listen, you just said it right. Storyline is the name of the game. That's why I'm going with that 3-2 for Space Train. this team, behind the scenes when we had everything go down, they were offered, right? We said, our admin team was like, listen, because you're coming in late, we can allow you to replay that round 1 game, start you in upper bracket, give you a fair shake of things. They openly said no. They said that they want the lower bracket. They want that extra pressure on their backs. And, if it ultimately bites them in the back, so be it. But I've said, you're playing with house money. You can go into this, and if you absolutely tank out, so be it. But, circumstances like this is when teams can play their best, right? No pressure. They simply have all the free reign in the world. Meanwhile, Infinity, they have that pressure, right? They know they can lose. They just experienced it pretty heavily at the hand of Queen of Diamonds. So, looking forward here, I do expect this matchup to be a lot closer than people may be thinking.
Yeah, I'm people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Huge.
Let's take a look at our casters here. Right, I believe they're on the similar train of thought to myself. Maybe not 3-0, but I believe both of them predicted the 3-1. We'll take a look at in the Fletch here. Yep, 3-1 Infinity. And then Dexatron with the 3-1.
Also 3-1.
So it looks like you two are in the minority here. We won't have any Dex balling, though, so that's good for just for the face of CGL, right? We don't want to have more of that.
No air balls here.
No air balls.
No air balls here.
But we can probably, bring in the casters now. Dexatron and in the Fletch, talk about their predictions, and then send it off to them to get some good casting. Oh, and look at that. In the Fletch is still in Sweden. Look at that.
Wowee.
Still in Sweden.
Good place to be. It was really fun.
Oh, dude, look at that.
So powerful.
All we needed was you just playing.
All right. What's up, guys? How you feeling?
Not too bad.
That's
Not too
why
bad. I
you-
want
I don't
to.
know, man. Talk about that. Tell us about that 3-1.
Yeah,
tell us about the 3-1 there.
Oh, I mean, it's kind of a similar scenario to this morning, right? This afternoon, when I was on the desk for the first time talking about this. When you've got nothing to lose, when you take the pressure off of yourself, why not, right? Why not now? Were we not supposed to go up?
Yeah.
I'm so
No, we
confused.
weren't. We weren't.
No, you're echoing. We can hear
Yes,
you.
we're not supposed to go up. So
Yeah,
I
we're supposed to go up. We're in calls.
Oh, well, my bad.
Oh my god, I'm not there to help.
How do? Oh my God!
I'm not there with Fletch for one.
They go to
part.
Sweden
I'm
for
off the part.
Dude,
They go to
I'm
they go to
so-
Sweden for
I'm
1
so
week.
Out of it.
Hey,
I'm
welcome
so
to
out of
CGL
it,
After
man.
Dark,
Oh my
where
God.
We don't even know what's going on anymore. But yeah,
I don't know what I'm doing, man.
Dex, what about what
but-
are your thoughts on
That
it?
explains the.
Okay.
I mean, like, here's the thing. You guys talked about a lot. Space Train is coming into this one, giving a breath of life here, but they're putting that breath of life back against the wall here. So it could be a very short breath of life here. It could be one that extends very long. I want to see how they play that first map. I'm saying 3-1 Infinity because, like you guys said, they took one map off a great team in that upper bracket. But if Space Train can take this first map handily, we might be looking at something closer to what Soav and Megalast said, where it could be a very, very close series that I think, close to what Megalast said, goes the distance.
I'm definitely interested to see either way.
Yeah.
So you two in the Fletch, Dexatron, take it away. Have some fun with it. We'll see you on the other side.
All right, man. Dex, shenanigans to the side. We got a series ahead of us here. Infinity versus Space Train Express. An excellent story here. No doubt in my mind. I mean, I'm looking forward to this one a lot because Space Train Express, father-son team, right? Not supposed to be here. The stars aligned for them to be here. Now, they got nothing to lose, right? Because they weren't supposed to be here to begin with. So I really am looking forward to seeing what they've got to play with as we get ready to head into our first map of the series, Samoa.
Yeah, and I mean, they talked about a little bit here. They talked about what we could potentially see. Well, are we going to be seeing the Malga metas come back out here? Considering that this is Diamond tier, you do start to see the meta kind of come into play a little bit more. But this is also a tier where you could see a lot of other variety stuff come out here. And because we have that tank swap for Space Train and some other role swaps going on as well, you might not necessarily be comfortable running that Malga, at least to start. It might be something you have to pull out later. Infinity, on the other hand, they might come out on that Malga comp. It's going to be really fun to see if these teams want to run them because, like the desk kind of talked about, you know what you're kind of playing into here. It's no longer normal Overwatch, kind of like what Soab and Joker said. You're going back to GOATs. You're watching cooldowns for the most part and ultimate usage coming out there. So it's going to be really interesting to see what these two teams want to play. But Fletch, this is a map where you can see a lot of different variety of comps. Just like every control map, you have poke maps, you have brawl maps, you have dive maps here. It's all there. We do have one sub coming in, though, from the time where the desk called out. You have Ace Matrix coming in here, or I believe that is Infinity. So, I mean, an early sub here, I don't think it's going to be that big of a difference since we haven't even started the series yet. But, Fletch, I mean, do or die now for both these teams. Space Train, like we already kind of mentioned a lot here. Hey, their backs are against the wall from the start. They weren't supposed to be here, but hey, they're here now. Infinity, they lost in that upper bracket, want to try to continue their run in this lower bracket against a team that they probably didn't expect to see.
I mean, I can't imagine Space Train Express expected to see themselves where they are right now. So, playing with house money as we get ready to head into Samoa. We'll see what they've got in the cards. I see a Malga, and I mean, we're going to see a D.Va in here for Space Train Express early. Very, very much like them to run this Moira backline with the Reaper D.Va. It's very, very interesting composition. I'm not sure how well the May Reaper really plays into the D.Va tank pick, but you know what? I guess we'll have to see. Double speed for the side of Infinity. Two very, very interesting comps.
Yeah, I mean, Infinity's playing that Malga, but they're not playing the Malga comp that we know it as. So it's going to be very interesting to see because it looks like, based off what you said, they want to play very, very fast. I don't know if Space Train is necessarily going to be ready for that. Yeah, most of their team does have a out pool. Here, though, on that May, and the ice block basically makes them a sitting duck once they get out of it.
All right. This D.Va going to be very, very annoying for Ace to deal with that defense matrix. But how about Ace Matrix taking care of a Terra early? Leo Leopard on the flank on this Tracer, putting a little bit of chip damage in, now getting aggressive as the rest of Space Train Express decides to dip out for a moment.
Yeah, and this could be the thing for Space Station Express here. Playing with this D.Va, you really can't fully commit into a fight because, hey, once that defense matrix is gone, that mech's going to basically be melted down by everyone on the side of Infinity. So you have to try to pick and choose where you're going. You can't dive straight into the Malga, but you really can't dive into the backline either because of how mobile they are.
Well, here goes Leo Leopard, and Zanku is very, very low. Does not have that mech any longer. So now with Space Train Express knowing this, going to be able to take down Zanku, and they're going to chase down these late kills. Health pull grabbed there as Space Train Express bells out one more time.
And if you're Space Train Express, look at what they're doing here. Zanku immediately going over to the Malga of their own. That D.Va, like I said, once that defense matrix was gone, you were going to be melted and taken out of that mech. Mirroring the Malga here is the right call. And honestly, you're kind of in a better setup here for this Malga comp that we know here. But you still have to go into this very, very fast comp that Infinity's running with.
All right, here we go. Ace Matrix getting ready with this overclock. Going to pop it out. And Zanku not able to find that much value with the overhealing there, and Ace Matrix good for 2 with this overclock. Infinity will continue their hold here on the point.
Yeah, and you look at the percentage here, already 70% for an Infinity, and only 2 ultimates have really been built up for them. You have that overclock that came out, you have Leo coming up to the pulse bomb, yeah, you have a beat coming online, but those are the only ultimates ready here. This could be final fight, and you might not even see an ultimate get built on the other side for Space Train Express. That's kind of how slow these two teams have been playing this first point here. Infinity on this incredibly fast comp has really just stonewalled Space Train.
Leo in the backline with Pulse Bomb, throws it right under the shield, but Elvish Kitten just drops it to the ground and looks at it. Gonna fall to that ultimate despite not getting stuck there, and unfortunately Zanku is just ripped to shreds there by Ace, and Infinity will very, very easily walk away with downtown.
Yeah, very easily, and only 2 ultimates being built up for Space Train Express throughout that entire round. You see 2 more ultimates come out, and I'll see all the ultimates coming out there for Infinity, but like I said, a very slow round there for Space Train Express, and it was mostly because they started off on that Diva. They really couldn't do much into the Malga and how fast Infinity wanted to play, and they just struggled to do anything after Infinity took the point there. But Ace Matrix and Leo Leopard here on this team fight did so much to really stop Space Train Express after they made that swap to the Malga of their own. I mean, just great plays overall from Infinity. You can see they wanted to come in here, play this comp the way they wanted to play, and it worked out perfectly for them. Space Train Express, though, making some swaps throughout that map there, definitely needed. And going into the second map, you see them making even more swaps. Honestly, I would have loved to see the Malga mirror from the start, especially with how they were playing their comp last round, but you see more swaps coming out for them. You have Skeletron going over to the Cassidy here, and no swaps at all from Infinity. So Infinity, you kind of know what to expect from them here. Space Train Express on this Sigma now, it's going to be really interesting to see how long that shield's going to be up there, because it will be melted pretty quickly.
Throwing that out early here as we headed to the beach. A little bit of a flank there for Skeletron, able to roll out, stay in this fight. That flashbang will not connect to anything just yet. Nobody taken down, but the supports for Infinity are very, very low. Will not get dropped. Okay, the Cracker able to come in there, get that kill. I mean, a couple of great picks going the way of Space Train Express, and they are losing some players here and there, but numbers do still favor Space Train Express. The Cracker trying to look for Leo Leopard will find that pick as Happy Rogue just has to escape.
Yeah, the father-son combo here for Space Train, getting the majority of the kills that fight there, and also getting Space Train the first point cap here. A lot better to start around here, considering they never capped the point last round there. But, I mean, you're seeing them. They want to play a little bit slower Infinity. They try to play a split off a little bit. They had the confidence from that first map. You can't really do that anymore with Skeletron on this Cassie. They're going to be able to take care of some characters like Leo, characters like Happy, if they just veer a little bit too far away from their team.
Pressure from Leo Leopard onto the point, forced to use the recall, but Elvish Kitten is the first to fall, and I mean, everything is going right for Infinity in this fight as they quickly take the fight and the point.
Yeah, and again, this is just Infinity playing how they want to play. They want to play aggressive. You saw him go straight in, and it really helped that Leo was able to get onto that low ground on point and force 2 members of Space Train to follow them down there, where Leo easily took them out. But now, coming in this next engagement, a lot of ultimates going to be ready. One thing we did not see at all last point was ultimates be used to very success here. So Space Train's about to come up to 4 ultimates of their own. Infinity's about to come up to 4 of their own as well. That Orbital Ray from Reddish is going to be insanely huge, especially with Leo. If they're able to find another stick, that's a huge opener for them.
All right, Ace from the high ground going to charge in, get the stomp going right onto the Sigma. Red going down that ultimate. The Ravidic Flux going to pick up a Hot Fry and drop them to the ground. Skeletron follows up on the damage being put out, and Space Train will be able to come in and grab this point once again.
Yeah, but if you're Infinity, you only use the Orbital Ray there. You saw Space Train was using ultimates. Hell, Space Train used 4. All they have is a Blizzard here. Look at what Infinity's coming back in here with. You have an Overclock, you have a Cage, and you have a Beat. If you're a Terra, you're waiting for that Cage to come out before you use that Blizzard. If you use it anytime earlier than that, you are putting your team at a very, very tough situation, because you basically have the hope that wins you the team fight before anything else comes out here. If you're Infinity, I'd be watching out for that Beat to come first, because they want to play fast, they want to play aggressive.
Blizzard in the wings for Atera, so you know, Ace going to be dropped into the Blizzard through the cage fight, but it will not matter as the damage from afar is just too much to weather. And Space Train Express crossed the 70% mark, but Infinity, they get the ult trades there.
They get the ult trades. I thought that Blizzard would work out a lot better for Atera, but it just didn't. It didn't even force out the beat from the other side. Happy now has the beat here for what could potentially be final fight, considering how slow Space Train has played in the past and the fact they really have no ultimate. So you're kind of hoping to find a pick off before really anything happens here. So you're looking for Skeletron, you're looking for Zanku here to find something out early. Potentially you're looking at Leo here if you are Space Train, but you're just looking for anyone.
Well, the Cracker caught out there. Leo Leopard shooting at a wall for a moment. Can't shoot through that, unfortunately. Not wall bangable, even though you can see through it. now returning to the rest of the team. 90% now for Infinity. Very close to winning this map out, putting pressure onto the Brig. Sound barrier down, and Leo Leopard chases down this Brig, and into the ice block goes a Terra, claimed by the Pulse Bomb, and Infinity will claim map number 1 in a fairly convincing.
The improvement from point 1 to point 2 was noted, and I will say the Malga going into the Sigma was not as strong as I thought it would be, so this could be something we could potentially see from Space Train Express and further on in this series, especially with them having this next map selection here. But I mean, Infinity came out of the gate on fire. This first point of downtown was just played incredibly slow. I mean, either team was only able to build up 1 ultimate each. It was just a very awkward kind of map because Space Train came out not necessarily running the best comp, and Infinity just kind of made them pay for it over 2 fights.
Now, I'm really curious what Space Train Express does here, right? Because this isn't like past CGL seasons where, you know, you're constrained to a particular map type, right? You could go anywhere in the map pool, and it's pretty diverse overall. And so for Space Train Express, I'm interested, like, what do they want to do? We saw quite a few looks for them here on map number 1. You know, there's not really a particularly dominant dive map to run the Diva that we saw early here on. But there's a couple of places where it could be okay, I suppose. Like, you go to Hollywood for hybrid for, you know, a map. But otherwise, I mean, they're going to have to try and, you know, cobble together a composition that's going to work for them, because you know, Infinity's doing kind of the same thing, except they've had a little bit longer to prepare, right? Space Train came in here, very little preparation. You know, they're cold.
Yeah.
So as this series goes on, I'm interested to see what they've got, you know, up their sleeve.
Yeah, and you see the stats here for the 2 teams, and one thing that we kind of focused on throughout that first map was just ultimates. We didn't see a lot of ultimates come out. You see Infinity, you know, most of the team, 2 or more Leo, because pulse bombing is able to build up so fast, got 3 of them. But then you look at Space Train Express and it's 1, but outside of the Cracker who got 2 there. And I mean, we talked about that first point was incredibly slow for both teams, and Infinity, they didn't really need to use ultimates at all to win any of the fights. Their second point, they needed to use ultimates to win fight. But I mean, you look down that stat line there is one person you really need to focus on. That is Ace Matrix there. I mean, the only person with 10k damage, did an insane amount there for their team. And I mean, this was a person that was not originally in the starting lineup, came in for this first map, and man, did they take over the scene.
Yeah, I mean, Ace Matrix has been a force for this Infinity team all season long, right? You know, even if they weren't technically in the starting lineup to begin with, it's not particularly surprising. I think maybe was just late, didn't know if they'd be here for map number 1. Because Ace and Ace Matrix have been a very strong duo all season long. So frankly, it's not surprising to me that Ace Matrix is playing as well as they are. Gonna need to see this same level from them all series long. But, you know, on the other side, like I was talking about, Space Train, it kind of felt like they didn't know what they wanted, right? And that's not surprising. I at the very least, I'm not surprised. We know, you know, what this team has, you know, had to come in here and be like, oh, I guess we're playing now. Hey kid, go grab the controller. We're hopping in the lobby real quick. So it's like I said, they're having to cobble this together. I mean, they almost didn't play tonight. They weren't 100% sure that they were going to be able to play tonight, right? So this is very much a patchwork game for them. And, you know, like we talked about earlier, there's not really a whole lot of expectations on their shoulders. So, you know, this is going to be a super, super interesting, you know, rest of the series. Like I said, I'm interested to see where they go from here, because based off of what we saw on map 1, I'm not really sure what they want. So moving forward, I just want to know that. That's why I need my curiosity to be scratched.
Yeah, but I mean, you could look at how they improved from point 1 to point 2. They made that
Yeah.
swap over to the Sigma, and everything started to seem to piece together. They won a couple team fights where they really struggled to do that on the first point, and I think a lot of it came down to the Sigma. A lot of it came down to Cassie stopping that Tracer from getting into that backline so frequently that they were on that first point. You kind of saw them always kind of marking where everyone on Space Train Express was going to be. But I mean, Infinity, they have to now kind of deal with that as well. Space Train Express, I think, improved a hand over fist there from points. Infinity maybe dropped down a little bit there. They didn't necessarily respond to the improvements that well. Yeah, they won the map, but still, after a dominant 100-0 map point win like they got that first point, any kind of thing after that is going to be a little bit of a downgrade if you don't 100-0 the next point as well. But I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see what Space Train Express wants to do, especially with the map pick they have brought us to. Now, you talked about them potentially playing Dive because of the Diva. No, they want to lean into Brawl a little bit here with King's Row. But saying that, even though King's Row is known as that Brawl map, Fletch, we have seen teams run Dive here in the past and have really good success with it.
Yeah, King's Row was still riding off of that identity that it built in Overwatch 1, and I feel like we'll be talking about this until the inevitable heat death of the universe, that King's Row is this rush capital, but it really isn't anymore, right? You can run a whole lot of things. Like, if you wanted to run a dive, it's not really even that bad of a shout, especially on this first point where high ground control can be really, really powerful, right? But having said that, I don't think that's going to be the case.
Yeah.
I think that we're probably going to see, probably the Sigma, frankly. I think that's where we're going to end up. The composition that Space Train is going to be putting together is going to be that Sigma poke that we saw near the end on Samoa. They looked pretty solid on it, right? There were a couple of things that could have been tweaked to make it a little overall better. At least gameplay wise, but it didn't look bad. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if they run some kind of hybrid poke rush type composition with that Sigma leading the charge.
Yeah, we could see the Sigma. We could potentially even see the Malga come back out. I really do think the Malga was not necessarily something they prepared a lot for, especially on Samoa. You could even see the Orisa come back out here. I mean, no subs for either team as we do head in here momentarily, but we could see the Orisa. I feel like that is something that is, it was meta for a little bit before Malga. So you might have a tank player here who's a little bit more comfortable on the horse than on the Samoan. So you might see that, or I mean, we could just be saying nonsense here and not see any of those characters here. But if you're Infinity, I think you just bring back out that Malga comp. You saw first point or first map. Space Train Express really did struggle going into it on both points, even though they did improve on that second point. At this point, I think you just rock the Malga comp if you're Infinity until Space Train Express can prove to you that they can beat it time after time.
Okay. So obviously the Malga is going to be the play here for Infinity. I don't know if I like the Reinhardt all that much.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Especially because you're playing with it really all hinges on the May of a Terra here for Space Train. If a Terra's ice walls do not land, you're putting Zanku in a very bad spot because you're really looking to find a pin onto Ace or someone there and have Skeletron and then a Terra follow up with a lot of damage of their own before that cardiac overdrive comes out here. Again, it comes down to the ice walls for both sides, since Leo Leopard not playing the Tracer, they play that first point, instead playing a May as well.
All right, well, countering May walls out early, a Terra throws it up defensively to, defend against that Leo Leopard wall in the choke. Now getting aggressive early. 2 fire strikes out. A solid amount of damage in from the fire strikes, but a lot being taken by Zanku, and there is the crux of the Reinhardt.
Yeah. And yeah, there's the crux of it right there, especially with Space Train Express's support line. Not necessarily enough healing per second that can really support that Rhine there on its own. You need someone to play something like a BAP, something like a Juno, something that can heal a lot very quickly. And yeah, you have the Moira there that can do that, but you need something else other than a Lucio. But both teams running the Lucio here, but we expect this from Infinity. They wanted to play fast, and they're still playing a generally fast comp.
Back in once again for Space Train Express. I mean, this Reinhardt Earth Shatter has got to be an insanely good win condition for them. Yeah, the Cracker able to slide out of there just fine. Avoids the wall, baits it out. The aggression comes through. It looks like they want to go through this hotel, and I think Zanku forgot that they can stop the pin there. Elvish Kitten does pop the Coalescence, takes down Red as a hot fry. Unfortunately, I do not think that pick will be enough.
And it won't be, and that's the sad part about that. I mean, normally when you see that Coalescence kill, it's huge, but give a lot of credit to Reza Hot right there, throwing that Suzu down, making sure no one got hit with that charge. I mean, you saw they were gonna, Zanku was gonna probably at least get one person there, and that would have been a great opener for Space Train Express. Now though, because they didn't, they're put themselves behind here, and the Ice Walls have been decent enough to slow down Space Train.
All right, here we go. 2 minutes on the clock for Space Train Express. Trying to find their footing here in this map number 2. Wall is out. Pin comes through. Blizzard in the backline for Leo Leopard, ready to go. Kitsune Rush answered by the sound barrier. And Ace goes down. No cage fight in play, but Leo Leopard still has this Blizzard. Gonna hop up on top of the wall and going to get frozen. Will not be able to invest that ultimate, and Space Train have found their opening.
And hey, they're going to be able to cap the point here. I don't think Ace is going to be able to get back in time to charge their way in, but now Infinity is going to be able to set up at arches. But you look at what Space Train has. They have a Shatter here, and that needs to be something that opens up this fight, allows the card to easily get through this huge choke point, and allows you to get started on Street Phase here fairly easily, especially with a Deadeye. If you can combo those two up, you can easily find a team fight win pretty quickly.
All right, shields up. Zanku gonna throw down the Earth Shatter, and it's 4 on their backs for Zanku. 4 frozen up by the Blizzard, so there's going to be trades in turn, and the Blizzard is even bigger than the Earth Shatter, keeping Infinity in the fight.
The Blizzard also caught Elvis Kitten, who popped their Coalescence to combo with that Shatter there. That's such a huge play there from Leo Leopard to stop something that was easily going to be a fight win for Space Train Express to continue their momentum, but now they're dead halt again at arches. You do see Ace. They did die. They are coming back, but they're back. They have this cage now, and there's really nothing on the other side that will stop that cage unless it just misses, which has been something that Ace has done already once or twice this series, but they also are someone that ends the cage pretty early sometimes.
Well, it will be able to catch the targets that they want. The Crackers stuck in the bookstore. No chance in hell that they escape there as Ace comes in with the curb stomp to win the fight for Infinity.
Hey, and if you're Infinity, you are happy about that. One ultimate use, one team fight win. You're coming up to a second ultimate of your own with a Kitsune Rush. Space Train, you're still holding on to the Deadeye here from Skeletron, but you've been holding on to it now for a long time, and you're really not building up to anything either. And now you make the swap. Elvish Kitten going over to the Ana. I like this swap mostly because it stops Ace from doing what they want, but you also just have Reza Hotfry there who immediately has the counter there with a Suzu, so you're going to have to be watching out for that here.
All right, well, hope that for their sake this swap finds some kind of value. The Kitsune Rush just bailed on. Some great peel there as the Kitsune Rush fades away here in just a couple of seconds. The road going away. Now Space Train Express with this Earth Shatter, Deadeye, Sound Barrier, Blizzard. They have their win conditions. Earth Shatter ready to go here, but Zanku hesitant to let it rip. Gonna drop it, gonna claim 2. Sound Barrier comes out though. Zanku very, very low. Gonna pin into the backline below half HP. And they get taken down. The Deadeye good for 1, but Skeletron is not done in the backline. Can they find another? They cannot. Happy Rogue tracks that kill down. A Space Train Express lose their way one more time.
And they use 2 big ultimates there. Zanku now going back over to the Malga. He's very briefly saw this on our first map. Didn't necessarily look the best, but you have a little bit more time here. However, you're coming up to a lot of ultimates on the side of Infinity, a lot of strong ultimates. Ace, the last time they had a cage, won it on their own. Leo Leopard has a blizzard, especially in street phase. It becomes very, very scary. A Terra, that they have a blizzard of their own here. They need to be able to use this pretty early on. If you're Elvish Kin, you throw that nano on a Zanku now and just tell him to go to town.
All right. There's the nano and there's the kill. The cleanse does come through. Leo Leopard has fallen though, but the blizzard is in play. Unfortunately, Ace can just run away. No fear once they press that button in getting frozen. So still 3 people alive on the off angle as Leo Leopard returns from spawn. Ace Matrix on the point, looking for these rail gun shots. Stomp gonna come through, knocks down Elvish Kitten. And, I mean, it's going to be more adaptations as we get late, but is there even going to be a touch? 5 seconds left, and it's going to just be Zanku with desperation.
They will force an overtime, but the desperation, I mean, that was your last touch right there. No one else is going to be able to get there. But hey, Space Train Express, where they got this cart to is a very winnable point on this map. If they, say, got held just outside of, bar or library, it would have been very easy for Infinity just to say, okay, we know what we need to do here. But getting it all the way almost to point 2 here is huge for Space Train, because now they can almost just do exactly what they did, what Infinity did on defense. Just hold an arch for as long as they can here. But it's going to all come down to what Space Train wants to run on the defensive side. Are we going to see this Rhine back? Because Zanku looked pretty confident on the Rhine and pretty good on that Rhine as well, considering that I think both me and you kind of questioned the pick coming in here. It seemed like at points the Malga didn't seem to bother him that much here. But if you're Infinity, you're probably sticking with the Malga. It's been what you've been running all night long, and it's going to probably be what you stick with here. And also, this blizzard right here was huge for Infinity. If they don't get that blizzard there, Space Train Express probably does get that second point there and is pushing towards the final point here.
And, I'll speak to the Reinhardt a little bit. I think the pick itself, like in a vacuum, not very good into the Malga. I do think that the way that Atera was actually playing Mei, very, very defensively, allowing Zanku to play safe and be set up, very much helped to keep that Reinhardt up and in the fight. And, statistically, not the best right now, but those walls were definitely a factor in Space Train getting as far as they did. Leo Leopard with a nice little headshot onto Zanku will only serve to be some ult charge for Elvish Kitten as we head into the first fight of Infinity's attack. Ace Matrix playing around Mondada, looking for the opportunity. Atera on the other side now on the Ashe as well. Zanku waiting for the aggression to come through. Don't want to get too aggressive. You don't have the speed that Infinity has got. Zanku throwing up the Fortify and the Sphere Spin, putting out a lot of damage into Ace. Going to be able to track that kill down is Atera, so the rest of Infinity has got to play safe.
And they might even have to fall back here a little bit. Happy Rogue going a little bit far. They have Leo Leopard up there as well. They're going to be able to force a Terror down here, but this is the exact start that Space Train wanted here. And I love that they came out on this Orisa. I thought this would be a very good counter to the Malga of Ace. You saw him play around that statue a lot there, but Reza Hotfire finding Cracker out is not what you wanted to see if you're Space Train, because look, you were so close to having double support ultimates. Now you only have a Nano here to hold you through this fight.
All right, well, here is the Nano on to Zanku, but Leo Leopard is behind, looking for this Mei, drops down into the backline, takes care of Elvish Kitten, and unfortunately, Zanku is walled off. No escape for the Horus. Infinity will take point A.
The good part is here with Space Train Express is you're all going to be able to respond and try to get back out here, but you're not going to be able to hold it arches. You're going to have to try to win a fight probably around, bar or library here. Infinity, though, you have a couple ultimates here that are fight winners on their own. Reza Hotfry has another Katsuni Rush here. They love to play aggressively into those. I would not be surprised if you see that comboed with the beat here from Happy Rogue, just so that they can play very aggressively, because that's what they've been playing all night long. Very aggressive. If you're Zanku, if you're Skeletron, you are looking for those ultimates to find so much value here, because they are very much hinging on those two ultimates finding a couple kills here to force Infinity back.
Well, there is that aggression with the Kitsune Rush. The Terra Surge, though, trying to keep Zanku in this fight, but Bob in the backline certainly doing something. Ace claims a third kill without the help of Bob, and Infinity will continue to roll 4 minutes on the clock.
Big Omnic Butler there making some big plays, opening up that entire fight right there, getting rid of Elvish Kin. And now if you're Space Train Express, that was the worst case scenario for you. You need to find some kills with those ultimates you used. Now you only have a Deadeye. Bob could be there for you as well from a Terra, but you need to get out there, and that's not what you want to see. Now Infinity has everything they need here to win this map and win it now. Beat a Blizzard and a Cage. I would not be surprised if the Cage comes out here pretty soon.
All right, Ace looking for the opportunity. Just, I mean, warding off this Orisa. Elvish Kitten and Atera are just so damn low, and Zanku only has the Spear Spin, does eat the Blizzard, but cannot get to the point in time. Infinity up 2-0 in this series so far. It has been a very convincing affair thus far.
Yeah, it really has been. But again, we saw a lot of improvement from Space Trains in that first round. Second round, I mean, they had one good fight, but after that, you just started to see Infinity kind of show that dominance again. They kind of knew how they wanted to play. This aggressive play style into Space Train Express is not necessarily something that they've been comfortable with all night long, and it's starting to, build on top of itself right now. If you're Space Train, you need to figure out something here. This was a good map for you on the first round, but the second round, you had one good fight, and after that, everything you tried to do didn't end up working out. Ultimates you wanted, the combo didn't necessarily do what they wanted to do, while the combos on the other side for Infinity worked like a charm and got everything that they wanted. Again, that Blizzard right there helped Infinity out so much, because I really do believe without it, Space Train Express caps point B and potentially even could have capped point C here and completed the map. But one good ultimate is sometimes all you need to dead halt a team.
Yeah, and I mean, Blizzard is certainly a back-breaking ultimate when it works. But, I mean, that was certainly a better look from Space Train than we saw on Samoa, right? They looked a little bit more comfortable, like they knew what they wanted. Unfortunately, in the end, it was not enough. Malga is unfortunately the very definition of unstoppable force, right? Hard to take it down, hard to stop, and ultimately it was just too much to overcome in map number 2. I liked what I saw from Space Station. It was certainly more, like I said, they knew what they wanted, because they were lost on map number 1. They did not know where they wanted to go, what they wanted to do. They had a plan, though, and that is what I want, right? Because I'm not surprised that they didn't know what they wanted to do. I wouldn't know what I wanted to do in this situation, a very unique situation for this team. So once I mean, there was a reason they went to King's Row. They knew what they wanted, right? It wasn't exactly what we thought it would be, but hey, they came in with a plan. They played better now. Unfortunately, though, they're on match point as we head into our third map, our break. We get a short break. When we come back, we'll have a map number 3, Space Train Express, going to select that one as well. Stick around. We'll see what they can do in map 3. All right, welcome back, everybody. Right now, it is Infinity up 2-0 over Space Train Express. And, you know, I kind of laughed about it after we saw the map selection. We do know where Space Train is going to take us for map number 3. It's going to be Colosseo. And in my heart of hearts, I believe we're going to see more Reinhardt.
And I mean, I will say this: Space Train Express and Zanku did look really good on the Reinhardt. Probably the best that they have been before that they played all night. They are able to win fights, and we kind of talked about during the break. They were able to slow down Ace on the other side playing that Malga. But Space Train really needs to slow down the other Ace and Leo, the DPS line for Infinity, because while they slow down Ace, and you saw Space Train find a lot of success off of that, they allowed Leo and Ace Matrix to just go off there. I mean, again, Ace Matrix was the only one to get over 10k damage there again on King's Row, 15k I believe it was. And Leo, they got into the backline as Mei on the attack, which is something that should almost never happen, but they were able to get on that high ground, jump out the window, and then just immediately get in that backline and destroy it. I mean, you slow down one, you need to slow down the other here. You can deal with Ace, you cannot deal with Leo and Ace Matrix. If you're a Space Train here, you have to be able to slow down that DPS line.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing absolutely out of their minds for sure. It's not going to be easy. Ace Matrix is a very, very strong player as well as Leo. You need to be able to keep tabs on that May for sure. It's not often that you say that, right? But I mean, when you've got a May playing like their Tracer, especially a May that playing like a Tracer that can hit their shots, like we saw Leo do. And I mean, another damage dealer. Both of the supports have had insane frags. Like Red as a Hot Fry, to my memory, had 2 first bloods in fights before they even happened against Elvish Kitten, if I'm not mistaken. Like the supports have been playing insane as well. I mean, everybody is locked in for Infinity. They don't care who they're playing against or why they're there. They're just there to play their game.
Yeah. I mean, in Infinity, they're playing exactly what they wanted to play so far, and it's working out for them. Space Train Express, though, like we've kind of said, have looked better from the first map to that second map, and I imagine we're going to see an improvement again here on the third map. Will it be enough to get them over that edge, though? Will it be enough to extend this series? That's going to be the thing we have to watch here. I talked about it. They have to slow down that DPS line. You can deal with Ace going off on you because Ace is only one character. If you allow Ace Matrix and Leo Leopard to continue going off, it's going to be a very, very rough map here for Space Train Express. And it's going to be very interesting to see what these two teams come out with. If you're Infinity, I think you just stick with the Malgacom. Like I said, going into King's Row. If it worked out for you on Samoa, you're really looking for Space Train Express to slow it down enough here to the point you have to get off it. Space Train Express, though, coming out here with a different look for this map. Elvish Kin on the BAP. I like this a little bit better than what we saw from them last map, just because of the healing output they can do there. Skeletron sticking on this Cassie. They looked very good at Terra, though. Sombra has been a character that in the past week has changed so much, in my opinion, that they are very much playable. And right now, if they can deal with someone like Happy Rogue or Rez a Hot Fry, they will help their team out immensely. But you're also looking for them to shut down Ace Matrix, and especially Leo Leopard, because you know they're going to be trying to get in that backline on the venture.
I really do like this comp for Space Train Express. It's very cohesive. Immortality Field comes out early. Unfortunately, the Cracker tracked down. Leo Leopard is the trade as Zenku and Terra find 1 pick each. Now, going back to help out there, Malga is Happy Rogue, but Ace will just have to bail out of this fight as Space Train Express win out on that first fight.
And, I mean, they're going to be able to find more here, which is even better. They need a start like this. They need a fast start. One thing that they had not had so far this series is a good start, a good team fight win. Yeah, you lose the Cracker early, but you have Zanku with Terra there. Immediately find 2 kills right after that to even the scales a little bit here, and now you're building a lead for the first time this series, and you have a good ult economy on your side as well. You're going to be able to build some ultimates way before Infinity's going to be able to.
All right. Terra slips away. Zanku pretty aggro in, pops that commanding shout, but has the Rampage just about ready to go. May not even need to invest it. They're going to run back and wait for this bot to come back to them. Unfortunately, the Cracker a little bit too far ahead of their tank will fall, and without that support, it's going to be very difficult for Zanku to get anything else done.
Yeah, but, I mean, Zanku does have the Rampage ready to go. Skeletron again, be able to find Ace here. I mean, you're in a good spot right now if you're Space Train. Never mind.
Yeah, Red as a Hot Fry claims 2. Leo Leopard for another. Space Train, though, got out to a pretty good early lead.
Pretty good early lead, and like I said, they have ultimates. The Rampage is going to be huge here. Yeah, there's 2 members on Infinity that can immediately cleanse themselves with their abilities, but still, if you can hit Ace, both the Aces and Happy Rogue, it will be huge for them. It will force out so much utility just to make sure they stay alive. Skeletron, again, on this Cassie, I thought has been a great kind of countermeasure here for Leo on this Tracer. They've slowed them down a lot there, and now, I mean, Terra's doing a good job just slowing them down as well. The Pulse Bomb came out and didn't find anyone.
Yeah, was intended for Skeletron, did not claim them. Rampage is out, hits 2. Make that 3. Sound Barrier is out. Zanku in the back line, trying to claim something, but a Terra is the first to fall here. Tracked down by Red as a Hot Fry with that Coalescence. now trying to go help Ace out, keep this Malga up. The cardiac overdrive, good to keep them up. Unfortunately, with Zanku even finding Leo, it won't be enough. Ace for 2.
Yeah, and right now, if you're a Terry, you want to build up that EMP as fast as you can, because you look at Ace on the other side having that cage. You want to be able to immediately say, nah, fam, once that thing pops onto the field, and hope that your team's immediately right there to respond as fast as you can. You're going to give up the lead here, but you should have ultimates here to counter out everything Infinity's going to throw you.
Cage fight is out. That EMP is the perfect answer. Ace Matrix is the first of all. Zanku using that commanding shot, but it's Skeletron for 2 to put Space Train Express in the lead in this fight. And the lead is only 2.8 meters.
It's a 2.8 meter lead, not a big lead here, but look, Space Train, they have 3 ultimates. Again, that EMP is going to be so big for them here. They are waiting for that cage, and Ace probably knows that as well. They have to know the EMP is ready, they know that Deadeye is ready, and they know that the beat is ready. Since they haven't been used yet, and we're about 4 minutes into the map, they know they're ready. They're just waiting for the moment they come out.
Right, I mean, patience from either side. Zanku's so low, and the cage fight is out. The EMP is the answer, but is that even going to be enough? The sound barrier, the investment, this fight is over.
It's not how you want that play to go there if you're Space Train. You are finding some picks here, but they're not necessarily going to be picks that count to much there, especially with how far back Space Train is going to be sent back here. But Infinity, I mean, hey, you got through that fight there pretty good. The EMP didn't really slow you down at all, and now you're coming up to 3 very, very strong ultimates. Leo Leopard, we saw him on that first map, be able to find a lot of pulse bomb sticks, basically open up the fight here, and that's exactly what you're hoping for them to do here again. And Coalescence has been able to find kills every time they've been used by both sides here, so I would expect something to come out from Reza Hot Fry, but that is the start you're looking for Space Train.
Zanku, but 2 for Leo Leopard! Answers with 2 of their own. They're gonna back up, but nothing lost for Infinity as they wait for their respawns to come through.
And I mean, this has been the closest map so far of Space Train. They have improved hand over fist again on this map, but they need to make that last step now of getting over the edge here. You have both support ultimates on the side of Infinity. You could use them both to counter out the rampage that Zanku has, but you see now, Space Train Express starting to slow it down. They know they can't go head first into this one. They need everyone there. They need a Terra there to really slow down someone on that other side first.
All right, Rampage in the hands of Zanku, looking for the massive play. Sound barrier will come out as the answer, looking to take something out. The health pools are not looking great. Happy Rogue is absolute one-shot Deadeye from Ace Matrix. Good for 2. Make that 3 to the dome for Ace Matrix, cut down by the Carnage Axe there. But Happy Rogue comes in, cleans up the kills, and the lead will grow for Infinity.
And I mean, Space Train, you were so close. You were so close. You got through the beat. You got rid of the Coalescence pretty early there. Skeletron took out Reza Hot Fry. Ace Matrix, though, they have been the one person we've been talking about all series long, able to always somehow find their way to help their team out in situations. Happy Rogue has not died, and that's been one thing that has really helped Infinity in this entire engagement. Skeletron has been close to taking them out a couple times here, but I mean, the beat saved them from that rampage last time. A Terra needs to get out. They need to stay alive here because Infinity did not get those forward spawns just in that last one. They're looking for one more team fight to get them, but Space Train, if you win a fight here, you put yourself into a great spot here to win those
Skeletron
and take the lead.
Playmaker killed for Space Train Express. No flashbang to try and take care of Leo Leopard. Pulse bomb cannot be avoided. Was pretty far away, but Leo Leopard, it's their turn to turn up here. Recall in the hands of this Tracer, but it will not be used. Sound barrier out because Space Train does not want to let this opportunity get away from them, and they will not.
And a Terra needs to get back here fast. You see Ace has that cage ready to go. A Terra so close to an EMP. They need that here for this fight.
It will be used here, but will a Terra be able to get here in time? Will there even be a kill? Okay, Ace Matrix good for it, but the Rampage comes out, and it's 3 for Zanku. 1 claimed, giving Happy Rogue their first death, and it will be enough to put Space Train Express into the lead and even grab that close spawn.
This is the type of plays that we need to see from Space Train Express to extend this series now. 2 minutes on the clock here, a little bit over it here. You have an EMP for free now. You have a Deadeye. Yeah, Skeletron's Deadeye did not find a lot of value last time, but Ace Matrix's did. You're looking to find something like Ace Matrix did. You don't need to find 3 kills like they did. You just need to find the 1.
All right, EMP in the wings for a Terra. That is not where that hack wanted to go, but I mean, the virus will claim Ace Matrix, and this will be annoying. Do not use that EMP, brother. I know you wanted to. I would use it there because I'm stupid, but it will hold on to that ultimate as Space Train Express will falter right after the checkpoint.
But here's the thing about that entire fight right there. That's 40 seconds off the clock Space Train took right there. Only giving Infinity 100 seconds here to get those forward spawns and then get the lead. But here's the thing. Space Train, you need to take an early fight. You cannot allow them to push that cart all the way there because you only make it easier on them, especially with Rez Hot Fry making this late.
What?
You have all the advantage.
Knife! What a knife from Zanku! Claim the kill onto Ace Matrix. Kill that Soldier 76. Push them away. Push them back. Keep the bot in your control.
I don't think Infinity. Did they reset forward spawns?
Imagine.
Oh
okay.
no!
I was saying imagine the EMP comes out, but the pulse bomb, just as funny. Terra walks right into it in Space Train Express. You know, it was a great fight they took, but that pulse bomb, deadly.
Okay, but right now, if you're Space Train Express, you look at that time bank. It's on your side. You have 4 ultimates. Infinity will come in this next engagement with two very strong ones. EMP, though, can basically cancel both them out. So if you're a Terra, your ultimate here is gonna be the thing that extends this series. But one thing you cannot do, you cannot allow Infinity to get these forward
You
spawns
can't
for
die
free.
there!
That's not what you wanted to see!
You cannot die there. Deadeye invested. Gonna try to find something, but no kills come through. A headshot onto the Tracer. This Amp Matrix so strong. Elvish Kitten by the hair on their chin. Getting the kill. They're staying alive. Claiming map number 3. Space Train Express is not off the tracks just yet.
And like I said, map 1 to map 2, there was a big difference in how the Space Train Express team played. 2 to 3, I asked coming into it, are they going to be able to take that next step, get over the hurdle, and extend this series? And man, Fletch, they show us that and more here. This team is warmed up now. You see them playing the characters that they can absolutely take over the game with here. They did exactly what I said coming in this map they needed to do. It was slow down that DPS line of Leah Leopard and Ace Matrix. Yeah, they had their moments where they popped off, but they had that was just it. Moments, not entire maps, just moments. Everyone on Space Train, Skeletron, Zanku was one who absolutely popped off for them here in this map, and it worked out to a perfection. But now you have a long road ahead of you. A reverse sweep is possible, but Infinity now has the map selection.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be rough from here on out with every map being in control of Infinity from here on out, right? But man, Dex, do I like this composition. It is 100% the most cohesive composition that we have seen out of Space Train Express all series long. I think, with the exception of maybe the Sombra, which I don't mind as much. I would like to see a little bit more value out of EMP. If you know, I had one particular gripe with the Sombra pick, but the rest of the composition down the board, the Cassidy, Junker Queen, Baptiste, Lucio, they all play so well into each other, and we saw that right there. It was the first time that I believed that Space Train Express played as a full unit. They played as a team. They got the job done. This is the comp that I want to see for them here on out. And Ace Matrix, look at those deaths. Kept in check, double the deaths, more than double the deaths of anybody else on the team. They recognized the threat. They dealt with it.
Yeah, and I mean, we talked about Ace Matrix basically after every map so far this series because of how many kills they were getting, how much damage they were putting out there, and how little they died. This time, like you talked about, 16 kills and 10 deaths. That wasn't a very off map for them, but just a very off map in general for that DPS line. I mean, that's something that we talked about coming into this map that this Space Train Express team needed to do was slow down the DPS line for Infinity, and man, did they do that here. But let's take a little bit of a more in-depth look here. Skeletron definitely popped off this map. When you compare them to Ace Matrix, you seem very similar across the board here. But Skeletron, the fact that they're able to stay alive really did help their team out. The weapon accuracy was huge. And because they were playing that Cassie, they really slowed down Leo for the most part on that Tracer. Leo really never got into the backline that much that point there, or that map, because you always saw Skeletron marking them, making sure they knew where they were at all points. It was a big difference in this map here.
Yeah, a very, very strong performance from Space Train Express on map number 3. Now, it is in the hands of Infinity to take us to our 4th map. We clash. It will be Throne of Anubis for Infinity. And I gotta be honest with you, Dex, I really like the Junker Queen here. I think this Junker Queen composition is so cohesive and strong on a map like Throne of Anubis. I mean, if I'm Infinity, I got to figure out how to deal with this Junker Queen.
Well, I mean, I agree with you. This is a good map for Drunken Queen, but it's also a good map for how Infinity wants to play this Malga. They want to play aggressive. They want to always be taking angles. They want to be a bowling ball, essentially, with the Malga this map. And because of this long sightlines on this map, Malga has that freedom to kind of do that. And Infinity, in the past, have been able to keep them up and going. But you have to be more looking at Leo Leopard and Ace Matrix here. They had an off map last map, and that was because the DPS line on the side of Space Train really slowed them down, and hell, Zanku slowed them down. The only player in the lobby last map to get over 10k damage was the tank for Space Train. You are looking at right now, can Zanku kind of do the same kind of performance here? Basically diff Ace and slow down those 2 DPS over there. You called it out several times. The knives from Zanku in that last map were huge. Reasons they won fights, reasons they won that map. Now they have to find another way to win this map here. It is Infinity's pick, and you know they're picking it for a reason. They have to imagine that they have to know that the Malga here can absolutely be deadly if you cannot slow it down.
Yeah, I mean, and I feel like because we know that Space Train is more than likely going to be running this Junker Queen again, I would not be surprised. We've seen Red as a hot fry on this Kiriko throughout the series as a whole. I wouldn't be surprised to see it again because Junker Queen is insanely good in, you know, these drive fights. She does a lot of damage, but I feel like a particular pain point for Malga specifically is Rampage. Rampage is such a brutal, backbreaking ultimate, like in a vacuum. It is insanely strong. But when Malga's main means of staying alive is that cardiac overdrive, and the anti-healing of the Rampage comes through onto that Malga, it is very difficult for said Malga to stay alive, be consistently in that fight. So, do not be surprised. You know, we've seen a distinct lack of Juno. I think that's why, you know, or that's at least part of the reason, right? You know, the Junker Queen was specifically for Colosseo, but I feel like Red as a hot fry is just a little bit more confident on that Kiriko in general as well.
Yeah, I mean, we did see the Kiriko at the start of Colosseo there for Reza Hofrai before they went over to the Moira, which, I mean, the Moira can self-cleanse himself by using Fade, but Suzu is so important for the Kiriko. And like you said, the Rampage will just absolutely melt Amalga down. That's what we saw basically happen there, that entire Colosseo map. Every time the Rampage went out, it was hitting Ace there, and it really slowed them down, really forced them to play around corners just to try to stay alive, and it hurt how Infinity wanted to play, because we talked about them so much. They want to play aggressive, they want to play fast, they want to be in your face, but because of the Rampage, they couldn't do that, and they didn't really want to do that either because of it. Now, heading into, you know, Throne of Anubis here, are you going to bring out that the Kiriko again, I believe you kind of you can. This is a better map for Kiri, in my opinion, than the Moira. Long sight lines, like I said, long lines in general allow Kitsune Rush to find a lot of value by extending it a decent amount here. But if you're Space Train, you found them. You found the thing you need here to beat Infinity. And like I said, going into every map so far, the Malga comp was working for Infinity because Space Train could never, beat it consistently. Space Train beat it consistently last map. Does Infinity make the swap now? You already see Space Train here. You see the Junker Queen silhouette. You don't see any difference on the side of Infinity on the tank line. Ace Matrix, though, if they come out on this Reaper, I mean, you're basically playing as close to what the normal kind of Malga comp is at the moment than anything we've seen all night for them, which is a kind of a stark difference. But like you said, we have the Lucio out here. We've seen that from both sides so far throughout the night. Red as a hot fry back out on the Kiriko. That is much needed here, especially on this map, especially in this comp, especially with how Zanku played the Queen last map as well. But now if you're Space Train, you need to get a good start here because I think that's what really helped them a lot last map.
All right, early point pressure on Objective C from Infinity. Space Train Express waiting for their moment to strike. Ace is oh my god, so low. And the Cardiac Overdrive has already been expended. And I mean, Ace is gonna die here. It will go down. Space Train Express come out swinging, wait for their moment and find it.
And like I said, Infinity wants to play aggressive, but the one thing that this comp for Space Train does, it doesn't allow them to play aggressive. Axe from Zanku is so deadly. You also have Knife, which will pull you back. You cannot play as aggressive as you want. And a Terra is basically the big deterrent. Yeah, Summer might be nerfed to hell at the moment, but still, Hack is a very scary thing, especially if you just use some of the strongest abilities that this Malga has.
All right, a lot of damage on the Zanku. Really only serves to build up those support ultimates, though. No kill's going to come through just yet. Ace going to come in, try to find the stomp. Will knock down Skeletron, able to get the kill there. This Cardiac Overdrive, good to keep them alive and fighting. However, Zanku will fall, and so too will the hopes of Space Train Express here on Objective B.
And here's the thing, if you're Space Train, you're perfectly fine going back and forth between C and B, C and B. Point C is a much better spot for you running this Junker Queen than point B is. You need to be able to find a pick or two before the point opens on point B. Point C, you can play it exactly like you played it last time. Wait for them to come in, and then just follow up with your own play here.
All right,
Not
well,
lose that Terra, though.
Yeah, Happy Rogue able to track down the Sombra there. Going to not quite be able to kill them as the Rampage comes out, and Red as a hot fry not even going to be allowed to use the cleansing Suzu on that Rampage claimed by the impact damage. Space Train Express will be able to grab point C for a second time.
And like I said, this is what Space Train is kind of okay with, going back and forth because they cap point C first. They can cap it for the 5th time and win the map, but they're going to want to try to cap point B here, especially with the ultimates you have. A beat, especially with how Elvish can use those Amp Matrix last map, could be something that very much opens up a point for you here, but Skeletron cannot be the first one taken out. They were so key in a lot of the fight wins last map.
All right, here we go, back to Objective B once more. 4 ultimates in the hands of either side. Just about. Leo Leopard with the pulse bomb, not going to find that stick. Nobody walks into it this time, however. Leo Leopard, under a lot of duress, takes a headshot, forced to use the recall. Triple blinks over to the point. Sound barrier out from the Cracker. Zanku stuck in the cage fight, but the Amp Matrix is in. The Amp Matrix takes down Ace. No tanks in this fight. The overclock comes out. Ace Matrix claimed by the virus. The investment is strong from either team, but it's supports versus everybody for Space Train Express. They're going to lose out on B, head right on back to C.
Again, if you're Space Train, you're okay with that. Going from C to B to C to B to C to B. If you can keep on doing this kind of back and forth coin flip, you will come out on top this map. Yeah, you would love to cap B at least once, just give you a little bit of a breathing room here, but you might not be able to do that. You have an EMP ready to go this fight. You're going to probably use it whenever that beat comes out from Happy Rogue, just so that you can be aggressive into it still.
Aggression coming in here. You see up there in the top right, the Cracker's so low and dead. This is not the best start here that we've seen from Infinity. Pulse Bomb will be avoided by Zanku, but Skeletron tracked down by a very large man with 2 very large guns. 2 kills for Ace, as Space Train Express will falter on C. We're going to Objective D.
And this is the worst case scenario because, like I said, I think C is a much better point for the Junker Queen than points B and D. Now you have the Malga going into point D, a very open point where they can find a lot of value. But if you are Terra, you have this EMP ready to go, maybe use it early here. I don't think Infinity would be ready for that. Never mind.
Oh, man. Terra just... Oh, that's backbreaking. The Kitsune Rush comes down, and Happy Rogue just goes ham. 3 hit by the Rampage. Happy Rogue will weather that storm, but it's just Zanku left.
And that's going to be a mistake there for Zanku. You already lost the majority of your team. You were hoping that maybe Skeletron was going to be able to stay alive and help you out there, but now you just lost the best ultimate that your team had. And Infinity only needs to get 1 tick now on point E to win the map and win the series. Especially when you look at what Infinity's coming up to here, they have a cage. A Terra holding on this EMP probably just for cage. I feel like they could have used it a little bit earlier on to help their team out a little bit more, but you have it now, so use it now. But you look at Space Train, EMP, Deadeye, and Beat coming up for them. Needs to at least get you point E here. And it looks like Infinity, though, might just allow point E to be capped, and they're perfectly fine just fighting for point D, and I don't blame them for it.
Yeah, that's not worst case scenario, but if they do this, they need to win out on Objective D again, and these ultimates are going to be super strong for Space Train coming up, so we're going to head back to Objective D. Infinity playing it safe, playing their advantage. They know that they are better here on these second points of the map, so the next fight will take place on D after a short intermission. The Amp Matrix, the first to come out here. Gonna wait for Ace to pop that cage fight to use this EMP. It needs to come through. Need to use this EMP. Ace comes through, knocks down Skeletron, hits the EMP, hits Ace, and Leo Leopard. Ace will fall. So there's still a very real opportunity here for Space Train Express. Leo Leopard falls. Happy Rogue going to do much of the same. Zanku needs to reload, gets that ammo back in the clip, gonna claim red, is a hot fry and Ace Matrix, and a critical error for Infinity as we head back to Objective C.
It's not a critical error, in my opinion. Yeah, you could lose the overclock here. You could lose the overclock, but look at what they're coming up with here. Dual support ults. That's something that Space Train does not have, and they won't have at all. They have this Deadeye. I don't know how much value it will find on this point. Zanku is close to a Rampage as well, but you have 2 ultimates on the other side that pretty much cancel it out, and a Pulse Bomb from Leo Leopard could end the map here and now.
All right, well, need to do that as we are 4 all right now. Leo Leopard forced to recall here way earlier than they would have liked. May be able to take down a Terra, but the Deadeye from Red as a hot fry comes through. The Rampage will only hit Happy Rogue, but the Sound Barrier keeps them up, weathers that storm, and Ace Matrix with the railgun shot to the chest of Skeletron. Infinity will claim Objective C and the map of Throne of Anubis 5-4, unless there is some late desperate touch. There may very well be, but the prayer will be answered. There'll be a touch, maybe? Oh, the Cracker unable to get the late touch, but the ultimates. Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, it just came down to at the end there. Having those 2 support ultimates for Infinity was the biggest difference. Yeah, they used them very early on, but because they used them early on, they were able to play aggressive like how they wanted to play throughout this entire series, and it worked out for them. It allowed them to find all the kills they needed and force Space Train to try to come back and just get touches, and that was never gonna work out in that scenario. Zanku was able to build to the Rampage there, and Skeletron did find 1 with the Deadeye, but that Rampage only hit onto 1, and it hit on to the worst person of Happy Rogue, who used the beat just before that. They were able to keep themselves alive through it all. I mean, Space Train, They made this series interesting here. They got better throughout it. Infinity, there's a part of me that wants to say they're lucky to get out of this series the way they did and are able to move on in the playoffs, because I feel like if Space Train was playing like how they did in these final 2 maps in the first 2, we would be looking at a much different series at the moment.
And oh man, I hate to call like anybody out in particular, but Atera was playing Sombra like she still had the proper translocator, but like she was, you know, the pure flanker that she used to be. That's just not how Sombra works anymore, unfortunately. And there were so many times where, you know, it's not a stat that we track in Overwatch, but Atera was the first blood in like 3 or 4 fights over that last map. And I mean, it's just important to understand that Sombra is a very good pick into Malga. I wholeheartedly believe that. But you have to understand that Sombra's not a flanker anymore. At least she's not the pure-blooded flanker that she used to be. She is very much a play with your team and pop out to help follow up on somebody that is already very close now, right? She is not the person that can just live in the back line forever and ever and ever and never be punished. Because we saw it time after time, Atera use that translocator to get into these positions where they wanted to be aggressive, but once you do that, you have no way to get out.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about EMP usage from Atera there, maybe holding on for it for a little bit too long, but they did the right thing there in the end. They used it for Cage, and it was in a very pivotal situation. If they use it a little bit earlier, that Cage basically wins that map endpoint there for Infinity much before it does. We could talk about a lot of ultimate usage there in that final map, but still, I don't think we can just pin it on one person.
No.
I think we kind of saw that DPS line, while it was very, very much kind of neutered from how we saw it in the first couple maps, it really came back alive. Both Leo and Ace Matrix kind of did pop off there when their team desperately needed. Ace playing that Malga again just does what Malga needs to do. Just take up attention, take up a lot of damage, and that's what they did for the most part of that map. The supports, though, we haven't been calling them out a lot. Happy Rogue and Red as a hot fry. They played it incredible, that map there for Infinity. They did everything they needed to do to really help that team out. And I mean, they played that map perfectly. Maybe you try to force a fight on point E, not necessarily looking to win it, mostly just looking to force out ultimates. But I don't hate the strategy of just letting the other team cap E so you can go back to D when you only need 1 more point to win. This could have gone either way. And like I said, if Space Train was playing how they play in these final 2 maps in those first 2 maps, we're looking at a much different series, because you saw these teams, they looked pretty even in map 3. They looked pretty even in map 4, considering it went the distance and went 9 points. I mean, it could have gone either way. We could have been going to a map 5 here, but Infinity, they did what they needed to do here to win that map and move themselves on to the next round.
Yep, Infinity gets that job done, but we're not done just yet. We're going to get an interview with Happy Rogue of Infinity, talk to them about how they're feeling about this series. Not sure what I just tried to say. Gonna see how they're feeling about this series, and we'll see about how they're feeling through the rest of these playoffs. So stick around. We'll be right back with this interview. All right, welcome back, everybody. We've got Happy Rogue of Infinity here to talk to us about this series. Happy, how are y'all feeling about the win tonight? Yeah. All right. I like that. It got it kind of close in the end. What do you think put y'all ahead in the end of that series?
Bro, let me keep it a $150 with you.
Okay.
The power of friendship.
All right.
Yeah. So, Happy Rogue. It seems like you guys like to play Amalgam comp, but not the kind of traditional Amalgam comp that we're seeing right now. You guys are playing one that's more built on speed, it seems. You want to play very fast characters. You want to play very fast supports. Is that kind of the play style you guys want? You guys want to play a speed kills kind of Amalgam comp?
Oh yeah, down and dirty, like up in there all the time. Like pressure. It's because like half of us got ADHD, so if we're just sitting around, it's not good for any of us. Especially me. Like we got really slow on first point, and that was the most disciplined we've ever been with our time and our positioning ever.
Yeah, but hey, this was, I mean, you look at the first two maps of this series, they were one side. The final two maps of this series, though, very back and forth. It seemed like Space Train had figured something out about you guys. What was the kind of mindset you guys had? Because it seemed like there on the final map, it could have gone either way. And heading into a map 5, I mean, thoughts of being reverse sweep have to start creeping in, but plays that we saw come out from your DPS line there and plays that we saw from your support line were incredible. Just what was the kind of thought process, especially in those final points on Throne of Anubis?
It was winnable. You know what I'm saying? Like there was no like, man, we're down in our luck right now. It was all the way through. Like we can power through this. Like we got each other's backs. We got open comms. You know what I'm saying? So we saw the light and we just see it through.
All right. Well, we see y'all through this series into, I believe, is it the lower finals now?
Yeah.
Lower semis?
Lower
Like
quarters?
that?
Semis? Something?
I think it might be finals. I could be wrong about that.
No. It's lower round 2.
Yeah, that could. Is this an 18 bracket? I guess I didn't look at the bracket before this.
It's an 18 bracket. 18
Okay, yeah. So lower semifinals. Okay. Y'all still not done in this bracket. Happy Rogue, thank you for coming to talk to us. Is there anything that, maybe we didn't bring up that you want to talk to us about, or any shout outs you want to make before we send you out?
Shout outs to my coach, the bestest. Shout out to Leo, the GOAT. Shout out to Sorrow on the bench, my duo. And shout out to all girls, because all girls are great.
You know what? I couldn't agree more, man.
Exactly.
Thank you for coming to talk to us.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Go enjoy the win, man.
Thank you.
Well,
hey,
but
listen,
I don't know how to follow that up there, Fletch.
I guess when he's right, he's right. I don't know. Like,
yeah. But I mean, Fletch, this was a great series. It really was. Especially, we talked about it a lot. The desk highlighted it. We highlighted it a lot in the early part of this series. Space Train Express coming into this one as basically a fill-in team. They came in here in this lower bracket, and honestly, after that first map, you saw this team get better as this series went on. And like I said, one or two things go their way. We're in a map 5 right now, and I would almost be giving the edge to this Space Train Express team, but it just wasn't written in the stars for them today. But they sure as hell did play the hand that they were dealt here very good throughout this entire series.
Yeah, stepped in, stepped up, made it a very close affair near the end. I mean, I talked about it all throughout the series. It looked like they had no idea what they wanted early on. They found their calling late in the series with the Junker Queen composition. Some mistakes across the board ended up costing them, but they came in, they played their game to the best of their abilities. It just wasn't enough. Infinity, though, will move on into the lower semifinals of this tournament bracket. Very strong performance from them, especially early on, but getting the clutch up in the end in a very close Throne of Anubis. Very, very good performance by them. They made my pred completely right. So,
same.
We're going to bid adieu for tonight, and we are going to send it back to the desk to break down this series as a whole. We will see y'all again later.
Hello, welcome back, guys. That was, I predicted the Infinity to win, right? But I've never been so upset of a loss in my life. I was pulling for Space Train Express that entire series long.
Yeah.
And
I can confirm it was literally on either side of me. These two guys were screaming for face saver chest, and I'm just sitting here going, guys, I think Infinity's got it.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. Megalas, you want to talk about your feelings about this match?
I went in because like I said, I'm here for the best storyline, but unfortunately, it seemed like for Space Train Excess, that was more of a fairy tale today. But they had these good moments, like you said. Started out of control was not the best look, right? Leo Leopard and Ace Matrix were just sort of running over them. The rest of Infinity getting to do as they pleased. But like the casters were saying, as the series went on, Space Train was evolving. They were getting better. They were adapting, getting used to, this little skeleton crew they had put together. The off rolls were starting to mesh. I think especially when we head to Coliseum, like them on that Junker Queen looked so much better than everything else they had run. It just, it's a slight shame that it couldn't have come out sooner. They couldn't have gotten better in time because Infinity was just the better team on the day.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. I think when we talked about it, I think the series looks a little bit different, right? So if we're seeing Zanku pull out that Junker Queen on map 1.
Yeah, I appreciate trying to play the meta the best thing we've got and trying to find all these looks, but it really wasn't until that Junker Queen really showed its face that we saw so many different things come together. Zanku just looks like they fully understood how to play that, and not just that, it then countered. This is where, like, Junker Queen, where we were talking earlier in the night, where Junker Queen has a lot of strength right now. Junker Queen's Rampage shuts down so much of what this comp does for Infinity. So realistically, like, once we got to push here, and once we started to see these flatter maps where Junker Queen got value, it feels like Space Train Express kind of just fell into exactly where they wanted to be. It feels like everything fell into the pieces, but Infinity's DPS line just still dominated game after game. Between Ace Matrix and Leo Leopard, they were just constantly just shutting down so much.
Yeah, it also didn't help that Space Train Express were kind of just walking into Leo Leopard's pulse bombs the entire night long. We've seen a couple of these highlights here from our lovely observer and replay crew. That some of those pulse bombs might not have been the best, but they still got the value done. Yeah, I mean, like you said, the DPS line for Infinity was kind of just putting on a master class for them here, and that's gonna segue us over to the MVP of the series, right? We want, myself and Megalas, we're pushing for Happy Rogue the entire night long, but we kind of got outvoted, and everyone else wanted to be boring. They wanted to go with the DPS. They wanted to go with Ace Matrix, and we conceded and decided Ace Matrix is going to be the MVP of the match tonight.
I don't remember conceding this.
No,
I mean, you might not have consented to this, but it's kind of hard to deny that Ace Matrix really dominated the games in map 1 and 2. Second map in particular, with like a singular death, really tells you that he played. Not only did Ace Matrix play well, he played smart, he played with his team, and he just basically kind of ran the show. You really saw him start to struggle in map 3, where he had 10 deaths and Space Train kept him in check. But when he wasn't, Infinity just ran away with it. He was just free to shoot.
Yeah, Megalas. I mean, obviously we wanted Happy Rogue to pull out with the MVP there, just because, like I said, giving DPS MVP all the time is kind of boring. Still, Ace. What did you see from Ace Matrix tonight?
Well, yeah, jokes aside about, wanting the Lucio, things like that. I mean, Ace Matrix absolutely was a lights out, right? On the Sojourn, the Cassidy, even the Ashe when it needed to come through. Constantly being in the right place. I think especially, even if you're looking towards that Coliseo, right? They ultimately lose that map. But so many of those clutch Deadeyes feels like they come out of nowhere at just the right time to be able to deal the damage. Yeah. As well as just the consistent shots being hit time and time again. That's why Ace Matrix definitely earns it tonight. Begrudgingly from me, I'll still stick with, support players and tanks deserve a little bit more love. But I mean, hey, listen, when you're putting on performances like that, your name in the kill feed, we can build highlight reels off of you. It makes it that much easier to get player of the match.
It really does. It really does. We'll take a look at this bracket here, right? See how things have moved along since we last saw it, and much has changed, but we see Infinity has moved on to losers round 2. A couple of these games are going to be finished out, I believe, either tomorrow or Monday. Yeah, the two diamond matches are happening on Monday, and the winners round 2 up there. And the Ace of Spades and the BGSU Falcons are happening tomorrow. Speaking of tomorrow, we've got a lot of matches that are on the slate here to be casted up. We've got, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4 matches.
Yeah.
Or, no, more than that. 5
There's
matches.
way more than that. There's a lot that are possibly going to get some airtime tomorrow.
5 matches tomorrow. 4 at the moment. 5 if we get a producer for the Ace of Diamonds versus BGSU game. But yeah, this is going to be an action-packed Sunday tomorrow of Overwatch. Make sure to follow the CGL 1 channel, the CGL underscore 2 channel, and the CGL 3 channel. If we do indeed get there for that third matchup that will be happening around 8 and 9. But yeah, this should be a great day of Overwatch tomorrow. Other than that, guys, I think we can really wrap this up.
Yeah, I mean, it was a solid night of Overwatch from both these teams. It was always good to see, between EU and NA, some pretty good playoff matches here. There's still a lot of fight left in these teams after a long season.
Absolutely looks great. I'd like to give a big shout out to myself for being the only person who didn't say space station. I think that helps that I wasn't in Stockholm. I did say space train the whole time.
No, I still did.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Guilty.
even you did.
Guilty.
As soon as you said it, so I was so happy because I was like, I can say this. I am the only person who didn't.
Sorry.
Dexatron's also trying to claim that he never said it either. But hey,
liar.
I don't know. I don't believe him.
Oh no, man.
He wasn't on the desk. I can't believe him. But that's gonna be it for us today. A huge shout out to our production staff, right? We've got Hippie on the technical directing, Juno as the our replay operator, Rhino operating the stats, then I believe Orange and Reach that were on the observing for us today. And then obviously our casters as well, Dexatron and In the Fletch. And then all 3 of us here, Joker, Soav, and Megalast, we're going to end it off. Thank you all for watching wherever you are in the world. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.